last question. So I've been here since 2018 when we didn't have a coach, and then when we had a coach. The Seawolves have always had a good team bond, but under you, I've noticed that the teams their bond is a lot stronger, more family-like kind of. Is there any we talked about some of the bonding things that with family that they do? Is there any team bonding things that you guys do together that make that connection a lot stronger? Because like I say, you go out there and they're in group, they're in packs, just talking to each other and collaborating and talking and playing around. And I say it's more of like a family friendly atmosphere where they go out and a lot more than not that the other teams weren't, but this feels more like a tighter bond.
Better than ever.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that. It's a good observation. I see it when we're away in particular at times because powerful moments pre-game. You have 15 players in a circle praying before they go out, different countries, different cultures, different colours, not just praying for themselves, praying for the opposition. Some of the most powerful things I've heard and seen anywhere in the world in rugby and sport. Post-game, they're having a beer together, same thing. No matter where you come from, what colour you are, what creed you are. It's a team culture. And there's tremendous respect amongst the group and banter amongst the group, so it's good fun as well. For me, there are a number of events throughout the season, and I'm sure there can be more, and we can be better at that. But more importantly, it's organic. We live it every day, and that's more powerful than bringing a consultant in to run some exercise. Quite often in industries like that, have to keep doing it. Then I think you've got a problem where we almost want to, in the same way that our values aren't blazoned around walls, they're not words on walls, they're actions from human beings, from good human beings, good rugby players, good Seawolves rugby players. And that's something that we drive, how we measure ourselves in terms of our behaviours to drive performance. And without culture in my world, you have nothing. You have nothing to stand for. Because what happens when I came here as a consultant in April of 21, obviously the team had been going through a bad period. It was COVID. There are a lot of extenuating circumstances. And I think we lost 7 games in that period by 3 points or less. Like, do you turn around to your team and go, lost, or do you go, hey, look where we are from where we've been?
Yeah.
They were losing by 40 points prior to that. And it was the same group of players. And that was because we changed some subtle things, because you can't have wholesome changes when you're parachuted in to address some issues.
Halfway through the season.
You're working with the same ingredients. So how do you stimulate performance and get the best out of people? And half the time it's just about showing them what they already have. But it's critically important that they know how they're going to measure themselves as an individual and as a team. And it's not necessarily on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, you came in the middle of it. I remember that. I remember seeing you over there next to Fate. And I was like, who's this gentleman? And, didn't know who you were. And just watching you, fun to watch you, by the way, because you're excitable.
I'm passionate.
You are. It's fun to watch.
Best acquisition player coach wise we've ever had.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's like,
no, a player or a coach. Best acquisition that they made.
That's very kind of you to say that. Do you know what, Nick? I got to say this because Chris Prentice and Adrian Balfour need to be called out on this. They got me over here on a pretense of being a consultant, and it became very real very early.
Thank you.
I was on trial, and it's changed my life. They're getting the best of me because of them, and off field also personally. I've met someone who is just a magical person. So
massive compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a good friend.
She's amazing. Dude. Like she's a blast. Yeah. Matter of fact, one of my favorite fans, to say the least. Yeah, because we just can't help but find her in the crowd and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's just so easy to get along with, and just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, but it's like it's that event. So I asked the boys, what do we stand for? And they all looked at me. So we wear the order on our chest, and Andrew Duratello, some other boys. There's a mix of people, Nakai, players who aren't here. They went away and did some research into the characteristics of the order, and the boys came back with the values of the order, and that's how we measure ourselves. And it's just put up on the screen subtly before certain presentations. If new players come in, maybe our skipper or another leader within the team will stand up and share with the players what our values are. And this is how we measure ourselves. And they aren't complicated. They're family, care. I've got to say, you understand when I say care, do you? CARE. I normally have to spell it. Nick, you could get in the score, but what I say to the boys is, I'm not going to change, so you've got to understand me.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty proud of my accent. So, but family and care are top of the tree. The orca is also a really smart animal in terms of how it hunts and survives.
Watch many videos on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also ruthless.
Oh yeah. Apex.
And what a great tripod of values to sit on and live by.
And who would have thought? Honestly, what's a seawolf? We get that all the time. Especially lots of banter when you go.
They're about family, and when they need to get brutal, they can get brutal together.
like a tribe.
Yeah,
lethal. So and how you word that accordingly, and that ruthlessness begins with oneself, and then it's done within the values of rugby union, which are brilliant.
Love it.
That's why Miami Sharks better watch out. You know what orcas eat.
We're just gonna eat the liver. We're gonna move on. I love it. Okay, so I'm kind of curious. So a lot of the times, I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it from your version. So, rugby is so different than other American sports, and I think a lot of people are wowed out or blown away that often the coach is not on the pitch during the game. Yeah. And so where I'm going is I want to know, can you walk us through a week prior to the game and how you work with your leadership to get to that game?
Yeah. And you're quite right. I suppose I come and watch American sport and go, as a coach, I make strategic decisions based on seeing the game on one level.
Yeah, not looking down at it.
When I'm up in the box, I can see the game head. It's three-dimensional, first and foremost, and it's almost in slow-mo, and sometimes that's not a great thing, by the way, but it's like having a slow death. You can see it happening, and you're going, tell him it's...
Go left!
And then the poor people in front of me maybe hear the window being punched or the side being slapped. I try to stay nice and calm, above the water, but every now and again I have a moment where I've just got to let it out.
Human.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's the reason you can make much more precise decisions, and based on those decisions, provide better messaging to your players, particularly going in at halftime. So ideally, I would like to be up above, but I also get what you provide the player group from the sidelines when some of those players, like your Salmon, are you're coaching in the moment, the most precious moments to coach in. So I get that, and if I was working with under 16-year-olds anywhere in the world, I would almost encourage that we allow a coach behind each team, and the coach is only allowed to coach his players in a positive manner, or her players in a positive manner. There's no stop-start. They're still in behind the team, and they're coaching on the run. And that will improve the coach, and it'll improve player understanding in terms of positioning and repositioning. And by coaching, I don't mean don't do that. I mean how we position ourselves to be effective in order to play the game. Because rugby's a dynamic sport.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference to American sports. It's multifaceted. Most of the bouts are within 30 seconds, believe it or not. But it can go up to, and I've experienced this, where continuous ball and play time has been 8 minutes, 30 seconds, which is huge. So if you compare a rugby union to football or baseball, you're pushing 40 minutes ball and play time, 14 minutes and 11 minutes respectively.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a huge, and that's all wrapped up in 80 minutes of playing time, or a few minutes of injury time. So it's, within an hour and a half, you've got full experience of run, kick, pass, tries, injuries, mistakes, transition, scrum, line out. It's such a dynamic sport, and that's what makes it special. And I feel it's on the verge of being embraced by the American public, because people don't have half a day to give up the sport necessarily, or a whole day.
Well, that's why they're slowing baseball down, man.
Yeah.
They're trying to speed it up. Like
They're speeding it up. Same as cricket.
Yeah.
Cricket and the rest of the world is the same.
People are like, oh, I'll go to a baseball game.
The question, go back to the question. I don't know if I've answered it completely. What was the question?
Working up to the game,
yeah,
through the week, so how you hand off.
Yeah.
My thought was how you hand off, Rickard being the captain. Right?
Yeah, real quick synopsis of a week. In a week. So, if you think of it being a right angle triangle, you're speaking a lot at the beginning of the week. Get towards the end of the week, you're handing over. You're just priming and prodding players and directing players and cues that you've planned for during the week, and there's consistency in your messaging throughout the week. So you play a game, you do your work over the weekend, post game. The first meeting of the Monday, say we played Saturday, all your coaches in. You've embraced a lot of information over the weekend from your analysts, your attack defense coaches, your set piece coaches. So coaches in the room, followed by leaders in the room. So to review our game before we project forward and preview the opposition. Coaches will have already done that at the back end of the week. So your Monday's your learning day. You're putting to bed the game that you've had. You're learning from what you've done well, what you need to improve, and learning what you need to reduce for the week ahead. Tuesday, you're starting to run. You get into your heavy workload day, units, gym, and field for the team. So it's a 3-session day. So we call that our order day, our hard day. Wednesday would be off. Come Thursday, there's a real shift now in terms of coaching. And, Monday, Tuesday, coaches very much on the field. Coaches are very much on the field. You'll have your unit meetings prior to the end of play on a Tuesday as well, or end of business on a Tuesday, which allows players to take more ownership of messaging when they get into the session. Because the game's dynamic, you can't be, having a 30-second event. You've seen me coach. It's fast, it's furious. It's faster than the game, and we try to and aim to and do train at a faster pace than the game, because you've got to manage contact. So how do you pressurize individuals to make better decisions when they get to Saturday, when you train at a higher speed than the game's actually happening in? Less recovery time, you're playing quicker, maybe a second ball coming in. There's no 30 seconds shots or goal. There's no 1 minute scrum sets. There's no line-outs, cadence, nice and quick. So boys will kick a ball and make a mistake. You just roll another ball and you back that up, and you really stretch your energy systems and your mentality to make good decisions in terms of positioning, and then skills, technique that's required in the moment under pressure from the defence. You get to Thursday, the handovers, it's getting to that midpoint. Come Friday, it's you meet with your game drivers, and there's consistency in the messaging based on the battle plan for the weekend, if you wish. And then game day, every now and again, I'll always speak to the players beforehand. There may be an emotive message. At times, it'll be based on our messaging during the week and the tactical aspects that we need to be good at today. At other times, it may be, hey, we're playing against a really good team today. We don't roll our sleeves up. We're going to see one. So you got to understand the mood of your group. You got to understand the opposition that you're playing. You got to understand the qualities that you have in the room, and ensure that people feel good about themselves. Like, you guys are probably you're all younger than me, but even you don't fall into that world of millennials or Gen Z. And if you think, I'm communicating with many individuals who are millennials and Gen Z, and they have a different way of responding, particularly from when I was coached, when that end blank, good enough. Okay, coach, what do I need to do? Go harder. You haven't told me what I need to do.
So I was
and that was the word that was coaching, that was teaching, and coaching is teaching, and teaching is coaching. And part of that is connecting with individuals in terms of their learning styles and how you communicate with them to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, lots of individuals and lots of different techniques to teach.
We are all different.
Yeah.
And yet, you got to be able to wrap that up in a common language and a simple message, so there's real clarity in what we're going to do. And at times, I've got it wrong. Majority of times, I like to think I've got it right, but because I'm heavily or highly analytical in that, I'll measure twice. I cut once. In fact, I might measure 4 times and cut once. If you're doing that for every incident of a rugby union game, that's a lot of analysis taking over in your brain, in your mind, and how you get to the point where I'm only giving you 3 points. This is what we're going to do today. And again, using simple language. Think of traffic light system. Only 3 colours of traffic lights. Look how many accidents there are in and around a traffic light. And that's the way my mind thinks. So I want to keep it simple. If I can strip it back to 1 point, that would be my preference.
So is that kind of how you balance the working with the individual versus what's the greater good with the team?
Yeah. Think about it. 2031 is 8 years away.
Yeah.
So if you're 18 years of age, you're still only going to be 26 then. The 20-year-old playing today, the 22-year-old, the 24-year-old, even the 26-year-old, older,
Prime, man.
those are the players that we really need to focus on.